Oh, how you doing, guys? You alright? Pretty chilled out today. So I've been. Oh, it's not even so really, is it? I've done an assessment for English, Maths, and Science. Right, and for GCSE distance learning. So I've done English, Maths, GCSE Science. So I've been accepted onto a GCSE distance learning course, which means I can chill in my own space without being too anxious about the people, how people are travelling from A to B, and I can eat while I'm studying and stuff like that. Plus I've just started my maths course that Sina's did apply for the other day over the telephone. And it's going well. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I finished my maths course and my brain was just sort of hungry for more. It's been a long time since I've been in thought about learning something, so I'm pretty chilled out. So all day this morning, all day today, it's just been nothing but trying to cram in some knowledge, and I'm tired. My brain wants to learn more, and I'm really motivated to learn more. Right, I've finally been accepted onto a higher education access course, which then can get me into university. I haven't passed the tests yet, and I ain't gonna lie, there are parts of me that, like today, with maths is probably one of my weakest subjects. However, because I want to do animal medicine, I need maths, because you have things on how cells work in biology, and I know that from my time doing the GCSE course, 5 GCSEs last couple of years ago, before I relapsed, I had 5 GCSEs that I was supposed to be studying for, and I know that I've gone and found my notes, and you know when you're looking at nucleus and separating the atoms and cells, you've got to look at animal hydrocarbons, the way their cell structure works and stuff like that. It's quite an intense course. I've got 2 years to complete the course, and it's really interesting. Really interesting. Take each day, really I'm going to take my time this time. There's no peers, there's nobody that I really need to keep up with. So I did my first maths lesson with the course provider that we reviewed yesterday. And you know what, it was quite quick. The lesson was only an hour and a half, but we went through whole introduction to numbers, like maths, add, subtract, divide, multiplication, division, and common factors, and multiples and factors, which was alright. Got a little bit confused. I've got to go back and do some revision, but for now, I'm just let my brain cool down, digest the information, go back, review the information, and then program the information into my brain. Because I've got a big empty space in my brain. But I know it's going to start coming out thick and fast, so I need to get some structure and some team structure. Because it's distance learning, it's not like I went to college. Whereas before, when I was in college, I used to have to do 4 hours of math twice a week, 2 2-hour sessions. Just really hard. You know what I mean? We got home, we got, I ain't doing no homework, I'm doing now. But yeah, the lesson was quite good. The tutor was alright, quite slowed down. He slowed down as much as he can to get the whole session in within the time. So, what I need to do, I don't know why I say that word a lot, but anyway, what I need to do is just do some refresher. Because there's stuff like trigonometry and algorithms and double sets of algebra. There's like 12 courses, there's 12 lessons per page, and there's 4 pages of them. So 4, 12, so what's 4 times 12? It's nearly 56 lessons. 54 lessons. No. See, this is how bad I am at math. So 12 times 2 is 24. 24 times 2 is 48 math lessons in total. And I think there's more, but we can go forward later. It's really interesting because he only teaches you exactly what you need to know to be able to do the sums. And today we've been doing many calculators work. It's been pretty good to be fair. My English assignment was okay. The reading and picking out information, the level of understanding is okay-ish, but that needs to be further refined. And what I've got on the course anyway. And then they're just going to send me all my details, the paperwork, books. And for the distance learning for GCSE English, is you literally have to do the work within a week. You get a week's load of work, but if you did a week's load of work, and then you send it off, and you send it back to your mock, it needs to be looked at, and then you grade it, and the only time you actually go to college is for your mock exams. But let me just go and get the computer and let's see what these math modules are. But yeah, veterinary medicine, just an insight to some of the subjects that, I mean, I've worked out the bills as well, the costs. Is it on this notepad? No, it's got a math notepad. The cost, the initial cost works out to something like £87 for the first month. Then it works out to £73, no, £83 every month thereafter, I think. Oh, let me look. Basically, the cost for the first month on the billing statement came in at £83.75, and then the course now then costs £78.83. Now, considering I was paying £75 a month for a contract mobile phone at one point to do EE. For nearly 48 months, 2 years, 24-month contract. And it was only when I started work, for some reason, I neglected to sort of pay the bill, but I'd already finished my contract anyway, so I stopped paying the bill and the contract was finished. Plus, not to mention the phone that I had before then, paying £30 a month on a Huawei Pro.
So we've got the money's worth. Pretty boring, but to me it's really interesting. Other people might find it boring, but
If you went to school like I did, and you skived, and you're at a point of saying, what if things could have been different? What if things could have been different? What if I actually dedicated some time to study? That's a live classroom. So right, so basically, we've got the first one, we've got 2 lessons on introduction to algebra, and then we have percentages, approximating numbers using powers. This is the one that gets me. Right, so I'm on page 3, not page 3, page 3, and it decides to change. Am I changing or what? Right, okay. So we've got this thing called quadratics. Never heard of quadratics before in my life. Simultaneous equations. You've got algebra higher only, and then you've got Pythagoras and theorem and vectors. And that's just the level 2 maths for GCSE, level 2 C grade, C to A grade maths. Its highest set is A grade, but I think the maximum you can achieve is C, which is what you need to do 5 GCSEs, according to what I've been told. So if I go on to the animal medicine course, the access to animal medicine, lessons. So the classes are so you've got animal physiology, hydrocarbons, chemical bondings and structures, atomic structure and bonding, aspects of animal biology and the way cells divide within an animal. And I'm only 52% through the second unit, which has nothing to do with the animal. So yeah, broken down into 18 units, including animal change. Well, let's have a quick peek. So calculate the molarity of a solution or number of moles of a sodium given to suitable data. Not Scooby-Doo. I'm learning things that I feel I'm way out of my depth and they are out of my comfort zone. Determine the expression for the equilibrium constant of reaction to given the equation. Explain the effect of changing pressure, concentration and temperature. Use mean bond enthalpy data to predict standard enthalpy changes and reactions. It's actually, it ain't no joke, this course. The course ain't no joke. Altogether, the course provider offers all in total, the cost of this course over a 24-month period, paying £78.83 a week, is £1,689.75. However, if you pay the full course in full, you save an extra 15% of the £253. And it comes down to like £1,436 minus 46 from 75. Let's say 45 minus 30. 45 minus 35 leaves me with 50, carry the 1, 16 pence as a rough guess, I think. But you could just pay £1,436 to pence. And yeah. Like I say, get the qualification counts to the 5 GCSEs that you need, plus you've done the access course, and it comes equivalent to the 5 GCSEs and then the university application and UCAS points. So a total of 160 something UCAS points available. Just for doing the course, you already got 24 UCAS points in the bank just by signing up to the course already. So 24 UCAS points are already done. Then after that, is trying to find a scholarship or funds to make it work. I need to tie all of it in. And somehow I need to be able to tie studies with scholarship, with maths and English. So then by the end of the 2 years, and once the course is completed, I can make the application, but that's something for me to talk to with a careers advisor. And lucky for me, I've been a bit of a naughty boy, and because I've been a bit of a naughty boy by driving a car with no license, the judge decided we're going to take your provisional driver's license away. We're going to make you do an extended retest, which then drives my insurance through the roof. Driving ban for 12 months, and have to take an extended retest, and plus a 12-month suspended sentence, which then got increased because then I got into a fight. I'm still on probation, and then because I didn't attend my unpaid work, and there was some clerical errors in where the post went, and whether a warrant should have been issued or whether it should have been a breach or not. The court decided to extend my probation by another further 18 months. So because they've extended my probation by about 18 months, I might as well, while I'm doing these courses, is use them to my advantage, as anybody should. Now, thinking about prison and reforms, I was having a conversation last night with somebody, and I think my PlayStation is trying to access me. Bear me a second, I'm just having a look at. Yeah, 191, that's the intruder. Been blocked anyway. Right. I'll just disconnect the laptop for now anyway. But yeah, I was thinking along the lines of reformative. I don't know if anybody else has thought along the lines of reformative. Instead of having prisoners work and seeing prisoners as punishment, not so, but in other words, people that have anything, say, 2 to 3 year sentences, right? Instead of having prison as a prison, have prison as a boarding school, where you are literally just in education. You are retaking your GCSEs and you are taken back to school in order to prepare you for the world of work and rehabilitation. Now, with that, you could extend probation times. So say you've been sentenced for 6 years, you're doing 3, or say 2.8 months, or whatever it is that they do. I don't know the prison system that well. Go to prison, it's just not my world. But thinking about it, could you literally reset a whole person's conscience by taking them back to school and teaching them things that they never learned? Now, the idea that I had is I watched a Netflix series on how 2 inmates were banged up together, and he took his case to the judge and he petitioned for laptops inside the prison cell, fridges in their prison cell, and a kitchenette and a private bathroom with taps that run. Now, in some prisons, especially like my remand and my short sentences that I've done, they had you have taps where you press the button and the tap runs for like 3 seconds. You can't even have a wash. And there's a private bathroom there in an old Cold War Soviet prison. Okay, fair enough, the cells are quite small, like the bed space is quite small, but it's got to be bigger than the ones that I've been in. But basically, and they have on and off taps where you can switch the taps on and off. And they have their own privacy, they're taking a shit or a piss. Which is something I sit down and think, like, why haven't we done that in the UK? Now they complain for a laptop. When I see the laptop on this thing, then I've looked at what I'm doing with my life at the moment, trying to find my way, like a lot of other people, where they've not had regrets as such, but not look back on their life, but sort of look forward in their life and thought, how do I get to where I want to get? I have these problems, these issues, and these are the things that hold me back, and I need to address them. And cell, the person or persons laptop is only connected to a local area network. Now, for those that don't know what a local area network is, it's basically if you have two PlayStations and you connect them to each other by Ethernet cable, or is it PlayStation 2s? I think it came about in the PlayStation 2s and PlayStation 3s. Let's just say, let's just use two PCs, right? A game. Okay, so you have games and you have more than one PC. And instead of people screen watching when you're playing, controllers don't go there. Instead of people screen watching, what you can have is a screen to yourself, right, when you're on a local internet. So it's a peer-to-peer sharing system. Now you have a local area network. The only thing that those computers are connected to is each other and a database server. Now the computer was writing off then something was going wrong. There is no internet connection at all on the server. It gets manually loaded by a USB or disk drive, and then you can access the education files at any given point, and you can just download them, and then you can study anything that you want, and it can be done with a contract with a local college or a reputable AQA supplier. When I did my business studies course, when I was held on the map, I did a business studies course, and I completed it and got the level 2 in business. I don't think it was all that, but you know, you have to do quite a lot of stuff. But the college was Milton Keynes College. They were the course provider. However, it had learned HMP stamped all over it. Whereas you can probably do something where you can learn photography. You can retake your GCSEs. The only problem is you would have to look at the criminal that's taking the course, because given a prolific criminal the opportunity to turn their life around is a big risk, because you're going to teach them things that they probably can learn outside of prison walls and outside the educational system, but outside the educational system they will not learn them properly. They will not learn the theory of them properly anyway. Could you imagine somebody doing chemistry? That becomes a risk factor. But then they can still learn anything they want, such as photography. I learned every day that a letting agent photographer that takes photographs on houses on the housing market can earn up to £650 a day per shoot. Not per shoot, but it's not like £150 per shoot. There's X amount of shoots in a day. Prints and develops with £650 a day just to point and shoot a camera. But they know all of the theory. They know the facts. Right on traction control. Because if prison is not a punishment, think about it. Prison, and this is by legal terms and legal definition, well, the reason for prison is to protect the public from harm. And to be politically correct, prison is also a chance for reform and rehabilitation to become members of society. If you can't give these people the chance of reform, then how can you expect them to reform and become a functioning, valuable member of society? We can't expect anything less of them. But because these adults behave like children, which they do, and they think they are children, then maybe we should take them back to school like children. And then when upon release, increase their probation time to acquire life skills. Now, I've gone out about what a lot of people are like, you glamorise the military field, you think the sun shines out the military's arse. I don't. But there are some life skills that you learn whilst in the police cadets, air cadets, sea cadets, fire cadets, whatever it is, public service work, right? And insight to what public service is. You gain life skills as opposed to qualification. Now you need these life skills to get into universities, to get the good jobs that you need, to get paid 35 to 50,000 pounds, or even hundreds of thousands of pounds per year, right? Which is what they're committing crime for, because they want to go and earn that amount of money, and they see it as easier. Now, I'm not against all crime, because some people have to commit crime in order to get the thing, but they complain about not having these opportunities. They complain that the rich have all the power. And I just think that maybe it would be a better chance for reform. Pardon me. It would be a better chance of reform for people. Because we all want to live in a happier, safer society, don't we? Because even if you're the hardest bloke on the block, right? You're the hardest bloke on the estate, you will still get trouble that comes to your door. And you know the reason why you turned out so hard is because somebody bigger than you put you down. Especially when you think on things that at that level. Whereas if you want people to turn their back on crime and turn their back on all these things that ruin society, ruin neighbourhoods, cause insecurities with children, and cost families ultimately, you know, you serve 3.5 years, 5 years in prison, you cannot get that time back. But what you do with your time, I mean, okay, fair enough, anybody can go and do a construction course or an electrician course while they're in prison, and maths and English and things like that, but what about if that's not exactly what they'll be happy doing when they come out of prison? Because it's almost as if sort of like they're going back to prison. And then institutionalized, as opposed to developing the brains in themselves. I don't know. But yeah, as I was saying, when you're in these insights to public service things as a child. You gain life skills such as first aid, Duke of Edinburgh awards. You learn values. You get some good core values in moving forward, and certain disciplines, and know what's out there, know what you can do. But to get into universities, you need life skills. You need your priors, GCSEs, A's to C. Some you need A levels for. Like if I got into university and continued with animal medicine and animal sciences, let's say animal sciences, you would then need A levels. You'd have to study an A level in biology, of animal biology, to get to where you want to go to, and you would have to be able to get onto a course. Now we know that probation services can offer these things, but it's how do you get people to partake in it without thinking, oh no, the government just want to tell me what to do, or the courts are just telling me to do this, that and the other. I'd rather get recalled and do a prison sentence. Whereas, because they know they can just sit there, and when you go back to prison, and if you reform the prison system, and I'm talking, and this is probably more aimed at a youth offenders prison as opposed to Thinger, there is no mopping up of the landings, there's no working in the laundry room, there is no going to the kitchen to get double food portions to get your weight up, to build your muscle, to then enhance your criminal career, to double your weight. There's none of that. It's all provided and it's all cooked and everything's done for you, just as such as the same as what it is in school. The only thing you actually have to do is get your head down and learn. Because nobody would want to go back to prison and say, oh fuck it, I'm just going to do a recall, go mop some floors and talk to my mates through their cell door while I'm mopping up the landing. Or I'm going to go chill in the kitchen to get me double food portions and then come out. I'm going to just go to prison and then use a washing and drying facility and do laundry all day. You know what I mean? It's not as easy as that. You're not forcing them to reform, but you are changing the way the system, the prison rehabilitation centre runs, in order to enable them to do the work, continue with probation, and these types of things. So then, if they get recalled and they have to go back to prison, they have to go and learn something all over again. So there's no way out of their prison cell. Yes, they still get exercise, they still go to the gym, they still get 3 meals a day, they still get, what they need to get. Alright, so their basic provisions are still made and looked after. But at least then you can have a careers advisor on hand before the person is ever released, and then have a probation appointment set up, and then go to the next stages, next steps, apprenticeships, and then get into the world of work. And the world of work might see your potential, or should see your potential, considering by the time you're finished with probation, your conviction would be spent. Right? At the end of your probationary period, and you've ticked all the boxes, you'll go back to the judge to be not seen by a judge, but to get a letter from the judge, because you came out of prison after 2.5 years, you've done 2 years of probation, or say 3 years of probation. Let's face it, if you're doing a long crime, you have to do quite a lot, don't you? Right? And then you've got 3 years of probation.
you then can go back in front of the judge and ask him to serve your time. So you can then ask him to sign off on time served, and then a recommendation from the judge to say this person has completed all expectations under the Criminal Reform Act 2023, right? And all of his convictions are spent. And under the Equality and Diversity Act, you then compare that in with the Equality and Diversity Act, and then an employer should not be allowed to then discriminate against a criminal or an ex-criminal because you have kept your nose clean. Bearing in mind you have not had one breach, you have not had, if you had a drug problem, you have not had one relapse. There's quite high standards to be set, but core blimey, man, somebody that's on a reform meets them standards, the world's got to be their oyster, innit? But it's almost as if like everything is perfect in their world. But it's a lot of hard work, and it takes a strong will of a person to be able to do those types of things. A person has to change his whole way of life, his whole outlook on the world. And it's whether they're ready to do that or not. But properly said, it's just an idea. The intranet service is probably a good idea. That's where I would start. Because you have more people using prison libraries for starters. You have tutors that can teach people. I mean, you can look online, and I know there's people that do it every day that can't read. And sometimes TV pigeonholes people and says, oh, you're going to learn to read. And there are celebrities and stuff like that. And they're learning to read English or maths, and they've never read a bedtime story to their child. This person all of a sudden learns how to read. Or can't put two and two together, gets 5. And then he then can do sub and long division, which makes him useful to a company, or useful to a team, or useful to a person. Even if the person then decides not to work for a company and use the skills that are gained to be self-employed. With the internet service, we have a business still going. And instead of prison being a punishment, it becomes a place of reform and a therapeutic place. For them better themselves and change their lives. I mean, if you wanted to, you could even put down like, you could just have a totally separate wing, where you could use it as a project, and you could literally have an academic wing. And they don't mingle with the people that are in the general population, or whatever, or those that don't really want to uptake on the program. So it's all very well doing these distance learning courses that teach you about depression and mental health and stuff like that, but that's all designed for you to be able to apply that to your own life and to generate an interest in those subjects. And then if you wanted to take it further, you have a starting point to take it further. That's great, that's awesome, but it doesn't achieve results. Because they go in there and go, yeah, man, I'm recovering. You're a recovering drug addict or a drug recovering alcoholic. Yeah, I've got a diploma in like you know, you've got not even a BTEC diploma or anything like that. You've just got a course, probably a citizens and guilds course or an AIMS course that is designed to wipe the nose and help the drug user understand their habit and their addiction. But then 12 months later, they're right back into their habit of drinking or whatever habit that they had, their vice. And I can't judge and be biased, but they have the, and then you try and somebody comes along and says, you're doing so well, why don't you just quit again, sort your life back out? And then because they've done the course, they're like, look, bro, I know there's nothing you can't tell me about drugs and how they affect you or what I should and shouldn't be doing because I've done this course. But we've only had an insight course, it's not a full-on, educational, the way the brain works, psychology, the whole shebang. It's just in one area of mental health. It's not in the whole aspect, the broad picture of it, such as the science of reasons why neurons are firing, genetic disorders that can be included, habits, cycles of behaviour, all those types of things that they don't do. You know what I mean? And the cycles of behaviour that need to be broken for someone to climb, rise, and excel in their lives. To be there. So there's always somebody smarter. Never heard that saying? You know, no matter how hard you are, there's always someone harder. The same thing goes for the academics as well. No matter how smart you are, there's always somebody that's smarter. And that's just the fact of the world. You have to learn to accept it. You're not going to know every single thing. And know when to accept humility and say, hold your hand up and go, God damn, I got that answer wrong. But I'll try my best next time to make sure I get the answer right. You know what I mean? But yeah, just having an academic wing that only starts off with say 5 people on it. And then you can see how it works over a period of time. If it works, then you can increase the numbers and take things better. But it's the cost. And it comes down to the taxpayer. But then the taxpayer that sends somebody to prison will turn around and say, well, it's not really a punishment for their crime, it's a thing here. And then the government has to stand up and say, no, the prison is about reformity and keeping people safe. The most dangerous people are locked up for a very long time and they don't get these opportunities. Yeah, such as the murderers and the stupid rapists, the paedophiles that stand outside school gates and kidnappers like Ian Huntleys and people like that. You know what I mean? So they do all these long sentences to protect the public. Right? And they don't get the opportunities. Whereas if you've made a mistake and you've made honest mistakes, you can still be eligible to go onto the academic wing. Such as like, you know, I don't know, let's say you get into a fight and you've got ABH and GBH. And some of them you've caused grievously bodily harm, it's been a full-on, you know, assault, or you've assaulted a police officer in the making, it's all been aggravated, it's all been It's something like, you know what I mean, like a small little war, right? Those types of things are the people that need to be sorted out, or, you know what I mean? They get that chance to sort their lives out. Like, for example, they've said something in anger and the courts have turned around and said, well, this is going on your prison sentence and this is going on your criminal record for life. Yet if you reform to a certain amount, can you have it stricken from your criminal record? So then, because the law currently states at the moment, if you've served 4 years, right, either in prison or even suspended sentences, you are from now on forever viewed in the eyes of the court as a criminal. Can you change the eyes of the court on that piece of paper not to be judged or seen as a criminal? That there is a fight in itself. And therefore, once you've been deemed as a criminal and you've done more than 4 years, you cannot go and become like, you know, a judge. You cannot become a lawmaker. You cannot make any changes to the world that we live in. You have to live in the world the way that other people want you to live in it. Me personally, I prefer to live by my own rules. You know what I mean? Like, living in somebody else's world and they have their world and their ways and their methods would not be the way for me. Like, I was sat there the other day. She don't half make a lot of racket, didn't she? I sat there the other day and I was saying to the bloke on the phone, well, if I don't agree with some of these privacy notices, can I challenge the privacy notices and say, look, I'll subscribe to your service providing you can take this part out and put this part in? Does that make sense? So this is why I want to learn English comprehension, because then I can ask these companies to do these things. Not that I'll get anywhere, but you don't know unless you ask. I was always told, want, never get, but you never get if you don't ask. Want, never gets, but you never get anything unless you ask. Obviously. But anyway, I'm gonna go to bed and do some revision. I've had my break. I've had a couple of hours. I've had about half hour on the PlayStation, an hour on the PlayStation. Now I'm gonna go back to do my revision and go over what I've learnt today before I go to bed. Shut up!
I'm fucking done!
I know you are. I know what you're doing. Just
Get
making a
my
racket.
money out of there.
Stop circling. You're making a racket.
I'm not circling.
Oh, that's alright then.
What's me?
But yeah.
You want fucking dinner, don't you?
But yeah. It's just one of them things. Anyway, peace, love. Let's change the world. Let's make it a better place. Heal the world. Could you imagine Michael Jackson with an anger issue? I might get an AI program and ask the AI program to sing Michael Jackson's Earth song. Or no, Little Susie with an anger issue. Alright, see you later.